Shalom, family, in the name of Yeshua, Jesus Christ. It's your brother, the preacher, and this is Torah Nuggets. Now, this week's Torah portion, we actually start a new book. We've come out of the book of Genesis, and now we enter into the book so-called Exodus. I say so-called because in the Hebraic sense, it's not called Exodus. It's called Shemot, and it's called names. Exodus 1:1 through 6:1. Now, as I indicated, the name of the book of Exodus in Hebraic sense is Shemot. It means names. In other writings, rabbinical writings, it's Sefer Yetziat Mitzrayim, which means the book of going out from Egypt. And we'll do a little bit of detail, as I say, from our Unrolling the Scroll book, and then I'll get into my little piece of nugget. I won't be too long this morning with this piece of inspiring word that I like to give to you today. So the second book from the scroll of the Torah and the first Torah portion therein is entitled Shemot, or Shemot means names. The English-speaking world calls this book Exodus. The Hebrew title for the book comes from the opening phrase of the book. Now these are the names, the Shemot, of the sons of Israel who came out of Egypt with Jacob. Exodus 1:1. The English name Exodus comes from the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. The Greek title for the book is Exodus Ahiuptu, and translates to the departure from Egypt. The name Exodus is abbreviated from or form of the title Exodus, which means departure. The book of Exodus tells the story of the children of Israel enslaved in Egypt and their miraculous redemption through the hand of Moses, and the story of the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai, and the construction of the golden calf, and the construction of the tabernacle. As we study the first reading from the book of Exodus, we find the children of Israel in slavery. It seems at first that God, or the God of their forefathers, has forgotten them. But God has not forgotten his promises, and he remembers his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and brings a redeemer to their children's children for the sake of his name with love. And as that section, we read that section, that's what I'd like to talk about as far as our Torah nugget for today. And within these chapters, these 6 chapters, there is a ton of information. There is a ton of things that we can gravitate to, but it's that part where we were reading, and it says that it seems that God has forgotten them. And Exodus 2:25 from this week's Torah portion, where I will grab our Torah nugget for today, the God who sees. And I want you to know that God sees you. You may think that God doesn't see you, maybe in your despair, in the things that are happening in your life, death of a loved one, problems in your sadness, in sickness, and God sees you, and God hears you. And in Exodus 25, or 2nd chapter, the 25th verse, it says, God saw the sons of Israel, and he took notice of them. And previous to that, verse 24, it says, and God heard their groanings, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God keeps his promises. God keeps his promises with his children unto 1,000 generations, to 10,000 generations. God is not slack that his promises would not be fulfilled. And that's my little portion for you today. I only wanted to take a couple of moments and let you know that God sees. As he saw the children of Israel, as he heard their groanings, they were enslaved for 400 years. Some other accounts give a little bit longer than that, 430 years. 400 plus years in slavery. And they had gone away from God, the luxuries of Egypt and those things. But they fell slave to society and to that culture. And I want you to know that God wants to draw you out, that God wants you to depart from Egypt. And I mean, that could be a whole other Torah nugget, but in those places, Egypt, the word Mitzrayim means a narrow place, a tight place, an enclosing, and you might feel that way. You might feel like you're in an Egypt. But God sent a Redeemer. God sent the greatest Redeemer. Even Moses says, there's one coming after me that's greater than me. Him you should listen to. So brothers and sisters, be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. In this world you may have trouble, but be of good cheer. Jesus, Yeshua, Jesucristo, has conquered the world. He has overcome the world. He has conquered death, the grave, and all those things in between. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah. Be encouraged today. God sees you. He's the God that sees. Shalom, shalom. Support the ministry and support all that we're doing. There's the Cash App, $3 John 15. We love you, family. Be encouraged.